We live in a world defined by human achievement, by these sprawling, electrified metropolises. But our presence here is far from guaranteed. It is the result of an ancient disruption that cleared the way for our existence. 66 million years ago, this planet was fully occupied. It was the domain of an entirely different class of apex predators that had successfully claimed every corner of the globe. This creates the central paradox of our history. The absolute, violent destruction of that preceding empire was the specific condition required for our own species to emerge. For 165 million years, dinosaurs enjoyed a period of unquestioned dominance. They had adapted to nearly every terrestrial environment, establishing a reign that lasted over 50 times longer than the entire history of modern humans. The immense physical scale of these creatures allowed them to maintain a stable ecological balance at the top of the food chain. Within their world, they were effectively invincible. But while the dinosaurs refined their terrestrial dominance, a silent threat was approaching from the outer solar system, an object that the laws of biology were never designed to handle. This comparison shows the 10-kilometer-wide asteroid alongside Mount Everest. Imagine this mass of solid rock traveling at 70,000 kilometers per hour, carrying enough kinetic energy to displace the atmosphere itself. In the face of these cosmic physics, the dinosaurs' physical strength and predatory instincts were irrelevant. The mechanisms of survival they had perfected for millions of years were about to be rendered useless. This satellite view shows the Yucatan Peninsula. 66 million years ago, the asteroid struck the shallow waters covering this exact geographic zone, hitting a target rich in sulfur and hydrocarbons. The collision triggered a massive energy transfer, resulting in an explosion equivalent to the simultaneous detonation of billions of atomic bombs. Within the primary blast radius, the thermal radiation was so intense that all biological matter within 1,000 miles was vaporized instantly. Following the heat, massive mega-tsunamis surged from the impact site, violently radiating outward and permanently altering the coastlines of every nearby continent. While the kinetic energy of the strike was immense, the explosion itself remained a regional event. Data suggests that the immediate heat and pressure were insufficient to cause a worldwide mass extinction on their own. The true catastrophe was the long winter. Pulverized rock and toxic gases created an opaque shield around the planet. This blocked the sun for years. Global temperatures plummeted and photosynthesis halted. The collapse was systemic. When plants died, herbivores starved, and apex carnivores followed. By the time the atmosphere finally cleared, 75% of all species on Earth had been permanently wiped out. The initial impact triggered the crisis, but the starvation of the global food chain completed the extinction. By cutting off the energy source for most of the planet's life, the event effectively reset the evolutionary trajectory of the Earth. The immediate aftermath was a world defined by darkness and cold. With the atmosphere choked by toxic ash, the surface environment had become hostile to almost all large-scale organisms. The survivors of the impact were the unlikely ones. Tiny mammals managed to endure by hiding deep underground, insulated from the freezing temperatures and the collapse of the surface food chain. As the giant dinosaurs disappeared, they left behind an evolutionary vacuum, a planet with vast resources and zero competition from the predators that had previously kept mammals in the shadows. The collapse of the dinosaur hierarchy provided the specific biological conditions required for mammals to thrive. The same event that destroyed the most successful empire in history created the opening for our own. Over centuries, the ash settled and sunlight returned to the surface. New life took root, beginning a long process of planetary recovery. Mammals spent the next several million years expanding into the empty niches left behind, surviving shifting continents and successive ice ages as they grew in complexity. This unbroken chain of survival eventually led to the emergence of early humans, who inherited a world that had been cleared specifically for them. Our intelligence, our cities, and our future are all tied to that ancient event. We are the survivors of an accident, a civilization that exists only because a random rock happened to fall from the sky.